Hello guys! Welcome back to my channel. And kung bago ka sa channel na to, I'm Za and this is Za Canada Channel. Thank you sa lahat ng mga nag-subscribe lately at kung hindi pa mag-subscribe o mag-join na kayo. In this episode, we are going to talk about those people na gustong magplano to work, to study, or maging PR dito sa Canada because there are changes na hindi alam ng mga nakararami. At ito yung medical inadmissible di ba nabulol pa ako? Medical inadmissibility dito sa Canada as of 2026. So yan ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon. Watch till the end of the video. Alright, so ano nga ba ang medical inadmissibility? So ano ba yan? Medical inadmissibility basically is kapag nag-apply ka ng Canadian visa like PR, study, or work permit, kailangan mong sumailalim sa medical exam, which means na this apply to those people who have medical condition. Usually, sila yung mga nagmo-monitor or nanonood sila kung may sakit ka na posibleng makapanganib sa public health or safety ng mga nakararami. So, pero yung excessive demand, yung pinaka-important dito. Okay? So, ang ibig sabihin, ano ba ang excessive demand? Excessive demand is kung tinatayang cost ng healthcare mo is would be too high for public system nila, then kung mataas yung cost na kailangan mo sa medical or social services, posibleng ma-determine ng Canada na medical inadmissible ka. Hindi ka pwede makapasok ng Canada kasi yung sakit mo is malaki yung cost or malaki yung magagastos ng gobyerno. Okay? Pero ano nga ba yung bagong update? Yung bagong update is as of 2026, Canada quietly raised the previous threshold of 135,810 Canadian dollars over 5 years. Now, it's $144,390 Canadian dollars over 5 years. Okay? Yan ang basis kung saan tinethreshold kung sobra laki ba ng gastos ng cure mo o hindi. So, kung i-breakdown natin, yan ay 28,878 Canadian per year compared sa 27,162 last year. So, in short, may good news pa din. Mas malaki ngayon, which means na mas maraming applicants ang pwedeng pumasok ng Canada even if may medical needs sila. Kasi mas mataas yung acceptable cost. So guys, itatanong nyo sa akin, gaano ba ka-importante itong news na to? Kasi dati, yung mga application na nasara dahil itinuturing na sobrang gastos sa public health ang kailangan ng isang applicant. So for example, let's just say na may sakit ka pala sa puso and then you need like maintenance for every month or every 3 months or quarterly, let's just say. Kung ganyan, i-compute nila yan. So, if mas mataas yung public yung threshold nila para sa magiging sakit mo, then you might become medical inadmissible. So, hindi natin alam kung paano nila compute yan. But then again, that's the reason why there is a medical exam even before you come here to Canada. So, chine-check nila kung normal ba or if there's any sickness you might go through in the future which might cost them a lot of money. So, pero dahil nga tumaas ang threshold ngayon, mas inclusive ang possibility na ma-approve ang application mo even if you have that type of disease. Pero hindi ibig sabihin na pass ka na rin, okay? Kung lumagpas ka pa rin sa projected cost mo beyond the threshold, still pwede kang ma-flag at bigyan ng procedural fairness letter. Ano nga ba yung ibig sabihin ng procedural fairness letter? Meaning, bibigyan ka din ng chance na mag-submit ng mitigation plan para makita na kaya mong sagutin ang cost mo. And sino yung apektado sa news na ito or sa update na to? Definitely all the people who undergo the medical exam, like study permit, work permit, provincial nominee program, express entry, at lahat ng mga tao na nag-a-apply ng visa dito sa Canada, except for refugees, protected persons, spouses, at dependent children ng Canadian sponsors. Sila hindi dinedetermine based on excessive demand, pero yung health exam, they may still undergo or they would still undergo. Again, let me give a simple example. If ang required medical mo ay medyo expensive, like frequent treatments or high-end therapy. So, frequent treatments, for example, kailangan mo ng kailangan mong mag-dialysis like every month or like every 3 months. Or for example, kailangan mo namang salinan ng dugo like every month or every 3 months. So, ito yung mga high-end therapy. Okay? Or yung mga frequent treatments na tinatawag. So, mapipilitan ang IRCC na ipakita sa kanila o mapipilitan ka na ipakita sa IRCC na may private insurance ka, like savings or may strategies ka para at least mag-foot ng huge bill or para ma-shoulder yung mga bills na kakailanganin mo sa treatment mo. Okay? So, tips lang, make sure not to hide your condition. Again, there is this thing called misrepresentation sa IRCC. Kapag na-find out nila na nag-misrepresent ka, na meron ka palang ganyan na hindi mo sinasabi, then it will still, or IRCC would still ask you to go back home. Okay? So, prepare updated medical records, show proof of private health insurance, and get letters from Canadian doctors if possible. So, kung balak mag-Canada soon, so don't forget to check the medical inadmissibility rule of 2026. You can always check the IRCC website for more information at kung ano-ano yung mga sakit na included dyan. So, as far as I know, nakalist down yung mga sakit na they consider high risk sa Canada. Okay? So, kung nagustuhan niyo itong topic na to, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. At lumalakad pa rin ang email address ko dyan sa baba. Please do not hesitate to send me an email, your inspiring stories, questions, or anything under the sun na related sa channel na to. Okay? At laging tatandaan, hindi kailangang maraming pera, basta may peace of mind. I'll see you again next time. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.